Good morning and welcome to Sunday Storytime here on Gaming with ADHD. This is going to be a new segment that is going to be really infrequent, so don't expect a video on these kinds of subjects every single week, but I do want to do them from time to time. As I've said many times on my channel, I think stories are absolutely important to the games that we play, and also looking for different pieces of inspiration, whether it's in a role-playing game, a miniatures game, anything like that. So today I'm going to talk about Isom #1, part of the Ripaverse universe from Eric July, who is another YouTube creator that I follow. So before we get started, do make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I do try to put out a few videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop gaming subjects, and I'd love for you to come along and see what I have to offer. Okay, so before we actually get into my review of the book, I wanted to point out that this is Eric July's first foray into comic books, and it's a story written by him, and I think it shows a lot of potential. Personally, he has been very disappointed with the way that the stories in the comics have been going, with the way that the producers of the comics, be it Marvel or DC, treat the longtime fans of the properties. And so he decided that he was going to make his own. Now, whatever side of the debate you fall in on that, I think it's important that there be more voices, more content, more creativity in the marketplace. It makes everybody strive. It makes everybody try to do better in their respective fields. And I think that is the most important thing. We've all gotten so locked down to just following the big name, big corporate style media empires that we miss out on a lot of things. Looking at games like Cyberpunk had a very, very small following until the video game was released, and it was able to come out to a larger audience. But in reality, the game's been around for over 30 years. So, there's a lot of small creators that could use some love, that do really good work, and I think we need to actually support those creators. I'm not saying that we need to support all of them. I'm not saying that all of it is good, but don't be afraid to look and see what people are doing, and if there's something different that maybe we can give a small creator a boost and help get them out into the world. Now, with Ripaverse, a couple of things. This was done on it wasn't really a crowdfunding. It was a pre-order, but he was very transparent about how the campaign was doing. And they ended up closing at about $3.7 million. So this is a massive campaign, but that did include things like t-shirts and posters and things like that. There were 3 cover variants. What you're going to see in my review is I got cover B. On the image that you see on the screen right now, that is cover A. Both of those are sold out. I know there are some retailers that picked it up, so if you are interested in this, unfortunately getting cover A or cover B is not going to be possible, but he is going to be keeping cover C in stock and available for future purchases. Those, however, won't be shipping, from what I understand, until about November of 2022, so maybe a little while before you're able to get that if you're interested. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over to the infamously small work table and take a look at the book. All right, so I'm actually showing this. It's in its bag and board, and I wanted to point that out because that's how it came. Okay, they actually went through, pre-bagged all of the books to make sure that they actually arrived in really good condition. The box itself that showed up actually was designed to make sure that the corners were protected and that nothing was going to be damaged in transport. So I have to absolutely give him props on that. I believe shipping was $8, so it was not the cheapest shipping, but there was obviously a lot of packing materials that went into it. Now, all I received was the book. I didn't pay for any extras. I didn't pay for a signature. I'm one of those, if I get a signature, I like to be there when they sign it. So I didn't pick up any of those, but that was still absolutely a treat to see. It's nice. It's a pre-sealed bag. You know, I haven't bought comics in years, so actually getting that was really, really good. So anyway, so on the cover we have over here in the lower right, that is Isom, or Avery as he goes by in most of the book. And on the left we have Yaira, who does make an appearance in this book. However, I will admit, this is a little deceptive. She's not in her costume. Why? I don't know yet. We have to wait for issue 2. All right. On the back, we also get another close-up image of Isom in his costume and, kind of looking awesome. So, the book was written by Eric July, art by Cliff Richards, and coloring by Gabe El Taib. They are, well, outside of Eric, they are all, from my understanding, longtime professionals in the comic community. And, so there you go. There's that. Inside, we get some more art. Isom, I believe he is fighting against another organization called Alpha Corps. Alpha Corps appears to be a sort of, how do I want to put it? Sort of like a super-powered police force. So they also make just one small appearance, but they don't. Let's just say that I can't figure out who's the good guys and who's the bad guys, who the villains are supposed to be, and that's after finishing reading the book. So, there's that. This is a picture of Avery and his niece Vassie. All right, so we've got a little bit of an intro. All right, so I've mostly wanted to kind of focus on the art for starters. The art is really good. As I've said many times on my channel, the art is super important to a game. It's just as important to a graphic novel or a comic. I think that Cliff Richards did a fantastic job on the art for the book. There are a couple of spots that I have some issues with. No, this is not one of them. It's just a nice little profile pic. Where is it? I don't want to give all of the images and text. If you want to read it all, you got to get the book. Right here. Okay. So this one is a little confusing. This is a good piece of art. It fills up the whole page. It would make a great poster. My problem is with the subsequent panels, I don't really understand what exactly is happening. He's jumping over here, but then it appears maybe they went through each other or past each other. But I don't know. I would have liked a few extra panels to get a little bit more information about what is happening. This is Darren Fontaine. He is actually the bad guy of this particular story. And then there's another appearance at the end by a rock band, Norfolka. They haven't revealed much about them, but again, overall, I really, really like the art. I like what they've done presenting the book. All right, so I'm going to flip back to. Actually, I should probably keep this open. So, one of the biggest complaints that I have right now is there are some story holes. There are a lot of sections in the book, like this one, for example. We've got multiple pages with no text. Maybe a little bit of text, explaining, like in this case, if Isom, teleported or phased or whatever he did to move through his opponent. Maybe a little bit of text explaining that would have helped if they weren't going to add the extra art panels. But there's a lot of sections. Like we have these 2 pages, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 text blocks. I realize that a lot of the comics medium is supposed to be told from the art, but this is a brand new comic universe, and I think it would have been helpful for a lot more explanation. One of the benefits that comics like Batman or Superman or the X-Men have is the fact that they've been around for 60 plus years and such. We don't have to necessarily know a lot going into it. We know that Batman lost his parents, that he doesn't like guns, that he is trying to clean up Gotham City. We know that going into any Batman movie that we see, or any Batman comic that we read. We know that Superman is technically an alien that was raised in Kansas and is trying to protect his adopted homeworld. We know that going into whatever media. We know the X-Men is about discrimination and how people treat each other. That makes us hide who we really are. We know that going into whatever media, and with this being a brand new comic, even those other comics, if it's a new title from DC or a new title from Marvel, a new X-Men title or just something in the DC universe, we can already slot it in to what that particular universe has already told us. So we get those backgrounds that we don't get with Isom. And so it would have been nice to have some extra text, like in the last image that I showed where, the different nightclubs, maybe something talking about how West Flores Park has, used to be a bright shining city, but in the last few years it's started to go downhill as more nightclubs and vice type activities have come along. I don't know. I'm making this up. I don't know if there is that bit of lore. It's just something I'm saying would have been nice to see something like that in the text. So, needless to say, there's a lot that could have been added. There's a lot that is missing, but it is also issue 1. So I'm absolutely going to be purchasing at least through issue 3. I will give him at least that much of a commitment. This is a 96-page book, so even with a little bit less text than I would like, you can get through the book in a relatively quick amount of time. But just be aware that you're going to end with more questions than answers. I think that's good to make people excited for the next issue, and I definitely am. But again, there are some problems, but it's also his first issue. I'm not going to expect perfection out of the gate. I'll be honest, I still have a long way to go in producing good quality content on my YouTube channel. Like just now, I can't even talk straight. So regardless, if you want to support a new creator, if you want to dip your toe back into the world of graphic novels or comics, or maybe try something new, I absolutely would recommend it. Just be aware of the things that I think you're going to miss out on. you know, as far as games are concerned, right now there are, you know, the two named characters, Isom and Yaira. The main alpha core characters also have names. I'm gonna, you know, leave that for, you know, for you to find out if you read the book. So there's only a few powered characters that we know of, but I think, you know, being able to add these games to something like HeroClix or maybe even their own game system, you know, there's a lot of potential there, and I think it'll be exciting to see if Isom and Ripaverse move into those forms of media as well. So that is my review of Isom #1 from Ripaverse Comics. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. You know, are you willing to give a new creator a try? Have you read it yourself? You know, regardless, let me know what you think. And, you know, I appreciate your time and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.